Hello, I'm Grandmaster Mircea Parligras, and today I'm going to show you the game between Magnus Carlsen and Alireza Firouzja played in Wijk aan Zee 2021. It's the first round, and this was one of the most interesting games. d4, knight f6, c4, e6, knight f3, d5, now knight c3. And Alireza went for knight b d7, one of the many playable moves for black in this position. It is an interesting continuation which gives black good chances. Here, of course, white tried many moves like bishop f4, e3, taking on d5, but probably one of the most principled moves is bishop g5. h6, it is useful for black to include this bishop h4, bishop e7, and now Carlsen took on d5. e3 is the main move, and it was played in many games, and then black just continues castle, and again maybe white can take on d5 and or consider other options. Anyway, black wants to break the center with c5. In the game, white took c takes d5, and now of course black took with the knight on d5. It is to black's advantage to exchange a pair of knights. Taking with the pawn is also possible, but it seems like a small concession already, and white can continue e3, for example c6. Well, now if bishop d3, there is knight e4. This tricks works when the knight is indirectly defended because the bishop on h4 is attacked. And if white is more cautious and goes queen c2 followed by bishop d3, then black can continue, for example, knight h5. This is a typical idea to exchange the dark square bishop. So bishop takes, queen takes, long castle. Well, with a long fight ahead, probably white's chances are a bit better, but nothing is clear. However, black doesn't need all this, and he can just take on d5. Now in the game, white took bishop e7, so knight takes d5 is going nowhere because black just takes, and after bishop takes, queen takes, black is doing fine. So white had to take, queen takes, and here he went for e4. Knight takes, pawn takes, castle. It has to be included. Then bishop d3, c5. Typical break in the center, castle, pawn takes, and b6. And we got a position that can arise from the semi-tarrasch, but this is slightly more favorable version for black, because he has already h6 on the board, and also the queen is doing good on e7. That being said, white still has the center. He goes a4, a typical idea to to push a5 and exchange these pawns in order to create some weaknesses in black's camp. Black continues the development, bishop b7, a5. Well, there is also an idea to go a6, so black just has to take, rook takes, knight f6. For now, I think the position is about equal. Black is doing well, but well, there is still a lot of play, and even this apparently boring position can suddenly become very interesting, like we're going to see in the game. So of course, white defends the e4 pawn, rook e1. Black brings the rook into play as well, rook fd8. Queen a1, who knows, but little chances to be able to take that pawn on a7. So black goes queen c7, and here white played a very useful move. He went h3. This is always useful, controlling g4 square, but also to have some getaway square for the king. Finally, black goes a6. The pawn cannot really be taken because e4 pawn is hanging now. So in the game, white went rook c5. It was interesting to go d5 here, but we'll come back to it a bit later. So rook c5 was the move, and here black went queen f4. To me, it makes sense also to put the queen to e7. It parries d5 because the rook is hanging now, and the idea would be to just go rook c8 and exchange the rooks. So for example, if queen a5, then it can be played rook ac8, rook takes with an equal position. Or the same if queen e7, then white can go back rook a5. Let's say queen c7, it would be the same position, and here we can go d5, that interesting move I was talking about before. It's a pawn sacrifice, but it's very typical in these kinds of positions. So after e takes d5, there is e5, knight d4, and then knight d4, with compensation for the pawn, but probably nothing more. Know that black cannot really take on e5 because white can just take on e4 because of the pin. Even bishop e4 should work, but rook e4 is more forced. So in the game, black played queen f4, a more active square for the queen, so why not? And Magnus came up with a very interesting rook e5, almost with idea to trap the queen, who knows. Firouzja continued knight d7, rook a5, knight f6, and well, a draw repetition would have been a logical end to this game, but now Carlsen came up with a very interesting and typical move in this position, d5. So he decided to continue the game by sacrificing a pawn. Then pawn takes d5, e5. Of course, there is only one square for the black knight, that is e4. And now queen d4. So what did Magnus get for this pawn sacrifice? He got a very good control over the d4 square, and he managed to open up the position a little bit. Black has some weaknesses, but for now everything is defended, and he's a pawn up. I think white has a compensation for the pawn, but nothing more. Rook dc8, just activating the rook. Here Magnus played rook a1 with idea to go rook b1 and attack the bishop on b7. If queen b6, yeah, queen b6 would not be justified here because black can just play rook b8, let's say, and defend the bishop, or a more tactical continuation, knight d2, queen b7. Yeah, yes, he's going to take the piece back because after queen d2, now the queen attacks many white pieces. So just rook e1, queen d3, queen d5, the position is just equal. But then again, white doesn't need queen b6. So just rook a1, a5. Finally, black is grabbing the moment to start some counterplay. It will take some time, but this pawn can be dangerous once it goes forward. So rook a b1, bishop c6, and now again white has compensation, but probably nothing more. And a move like rook b6 wouldn't bring so much because black can just go bishop d7. So Carlsen came up with another pawn sacrifice, another very interesting pawn sacrifice. He goes e6, and I really like the way he played. I think this is good fighting spirit, and yeah, it's a bit risky, but what to do? In order to win, sometimes you need to risk. So black took the pawn, 95. Obviously, this is the point. So you see, he sacrificed 2 pawns, but now he got good control over the dark squares, and of course, white tends to play f3 and take the knight. Black found a good defense here, queen f6, f3. Obviously, it was not white's idea to take on e4. Knight g5, rook b6. White activated his pieces to a maximum. A very strong knight on e5. Now the bishop is under attack. The bishop has to move away. Bishop e8. And now queen e3. I think this is also a good move. If, for example, f4 after knight f7, black's task is easier because he can exchange a knight. So queen e3 was played with the idea to avoid exchanges. And here it was we got to a critical position. It is very unclear. Maybe black could be a bit better, but obviously white has a nice initiative and good compensation for the pawns. So in the game, black played a4. The computer recommends something like h5 in order to avoid knight g4. But then again, white has h4, let's say knight h7, f4, knight f8. Probably this is a bit better for black, but it's a long game, so white has compensation. And this h5 looks a bit unnatural, but it was strong. Another reply would be queen d8, and then if rook b7, maybe to just exchange one pair of rooks, rook b1, rook takes. Then again, white has compensation, but at least black managed to exchange a rook. The idea of queen d8 can be seen if queen d4, then rook b8 is decisive. And otherwise, black threatens d4 and take in order to take this rook. So probably white has to go for that line with rook b7 here. If something like h4, then d4, queen f4, knight h3, pawn takes, queen b6. Well, it's a very unclear position, but probably queen e4, g6, probably black can defend here and with a better position. Well, that being said, in the game, black played a4, obviously pushing the pawn, which is a good idea on the long run, but as we can see in the game, the pawn didn't get too far really. White now goes knight g4, very strong, that was the idea. Queen d8 and rook takes e6. If h4, there is d4 and black gets counterplay. A line would be queen f4, let's say knight, the typical knight move, knight h3, in order to avoid hg5 and avoid another pawn in black's camp. So now queen b6, queen e4, again with some threats over the black king. But probably rook e6 is even better. Well, I think the rook has to be taken because now there are ideas like knight h6 or maybe rook h6, and it's getting very dangerous. So he took queen e6, and now Firouzja makes the decisive mistake. Probably he was low on time and he missed white's reply. So he played bishop f7 now, which is a blunder. And we'll get back to it. The only move was king h8. And now white has a choice. The obvious move would be queen f5, going for queen h7, but then black has a defense, queen b6, king h1, and bishop g6, very important. So black is giving back a piece, but he will have the stronger a pawn. Queen g6, queen takes, bishop takes, a3. Let's say rook a1, a2, something like king h2. And I think, well, this position is very difficult to assess, but somehow I like black's chances here. Probably with good play it should be around equal, but I like black's chances because of the strong a2 pawn. However, after king h8, white has another interesting move. Maybe this is what he actually planned, knight h6. Of course, the knight cannot be taken. And now a move would be, but there is a threat of queen g8, so white has to go bishop h5. knight g4. There is no time for rook e5 because of check and queen c7 and black just defends. Well, all these details are not easy to see over the board, especially when below on time. But okay, knight g4 with idea to go rook e5 now. a3. Again, queen f5, queen b6 would be a similar line to what we've seen before. But maybe white can go here just rook e5. More interesting to make use of the bad position of the black's king. Queen h4, what else? Queen d5, again renewing the threat. Bishop e8 and rook f5 with initiative for white and a very unclear position. Black also has his own chances with the a pawn. Well, perhaps after king h8 more detailed analysis are required. The position is very interesting. In the game, black just blundered bishop f7. It is very difficult to defend against Magnus Carlsen. He is putting a lot of pressure. And here there followed knight h6. Very good, very strong. Pawn takes, queen h6. And white is just winning here. Black cannot defend his position. In the game, he played queen c7. A nice line would be rook a7 and then rook e5 with idea rook g5, a3, rook g5. He has to give the queen, king f8, queen h6, king g8, and now the bishop. Obviously here the king cannot go to the e file because of queen e3. So let's say here there is queen e3. So king g8, and then bishop h7, king h8, bishop f5, going for the c8 rook, king g8, many checks. And white takes the rook. And now there is queen a1 and white is just winning. So basically after queen takes h6 there is no defense for black. Black went queen c7, check, king f8, queen h8 check, bishop g8, and now a very important check that decided the game. Queen h6 and black resigns because checkmate follows. For example, if queen g7, there is queen d6, king f7 and queen e7, checkmate. Well, a very nice game. I really liked Carlsen's pawn sacrifices. I think Firouzja also played a good game and defended well until some point, but he missed the best defense in time trouble. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. Bye bye.